I have no idea how to start this. I really don't. And that's a first for me. I go live, 6 to 10 times a morning as a TV news reporter, Monday through Friday for 5 years. I don't get nervous in front of the camera. I'm very comfortable in front of it. And yet, sitting right here, this might be one of the hardest videos I've ever had to film. I've truly just been sitting here for the past several minutes, just staring into space, thinking about how I want to do this. But the bottom line is, I'm just gonna kind of word vomit and finally let you in on what's been going on behind the scenes, because the truth is, I haven't been truthful. I really haven't. I've kind of felt like it's just like in my vlogs, I almost feel like not guilty about it, but I'm like, wow, I'm really not sharing the full story. But finally, I want to tell you guys the full story. So buckle up, get ready. I'm going to be sharing just everything, pretty much just everything.
I had a feeling you'd come back and save me.
The title is not clickbait. I am leaving my job as a TV news reporter, and by the time you're watching this, I have already left my job as a TV news reporter. I quit. I gave up, and for a long time, that is something that really bothered me and devastated me, upset me. Like, I'm giving up on something that I went to school for 4 years for. I've gotten, in my opinion, pretty good at compared to my first year as a reporter, even my first couple of years. I was so awful, and I just worked so hard at it, but I have made the decision that I need to take a step back for a lot of reasons that we'll get into, but I need to take this step back. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be shocked, like Clancy Burke leaving TV news because our jobs become our identity, which is something I have really thought about over the past couple of years. And yes, this is a decision I made a couple of years ago. So we'll get into that also. There's a lot to talk about, as you can tell. But yeah, our jobs become our identity. And that's why this was so hard for me, because it's like, what am I if I'm not a TV news reporter? It's what obviously you guys know me as. It's what people in, my real life, like my friends, my family, they know me as. And it's just I feel like I'm nothing without. But I guess I should say that's how I felt, because I really have had time to make this decision, to feel good about it, and to just realize I'm so much more than that. I was a human before I became a TV news reporter. I'm gonna be one after. And I just I have known that this is just something I need to do, taking a break. I guess we'll just get right into it. I want to show you a picture of what my shirt used to look like, I'd say about 4 times a week. That is all sweat. And no, that's not from me working out. That is from me sleeping in the middle of the night, which is very unusual for me. I've never sweat like that in my sleep. I mean, I am a very cold person, and it took me a very long time to figure out what was going on. It was anxiety. I actually went to a doctor because I thought I had a disease. I thought I was dying, honestly. Nights, if you ever Google night sweats, really scary things pop up. And shortly after I started my job at Local 12, this started. And not only that, I started sleepwalking, just not doing well in my sleep. And what I realized was, it's because, at least in my opinion, I don't always express myself to people. I'm just kind of very to myself. I'll write in my diary back there, but to myself. And I think just sleep was the time when it finally could come out that I was going through a lot. I was very anxious. And throughout my life, whenever I have dealt with anxiety, sleepwalking has been a thing that pops up, or change. Sleepwalking is huge, but the sleep sweating was next level. And I went to a doctor who, if you guys remember, I told you guys kind of a funny story. She tested me for all kinds of things because of the sleep sweating. One thing she thought I had was liver failure. I'm laughing because you'll see. My skin was orangey yellow from me eating too many sweet potatoes. And she told me oh, wow, your skin is tinted. This could be liver failure. And I could have sat there and been hey, it's the sweet potatoes, but I was too humiliated and embarrassed that I eat that many sweet potatoes that my skin turns that color, that I was oh man, yep, my liver, I feel it, it's failing. She ended up telling me this is likely anxiety, which I kind of was wow, I hadn't really thought of, but it made perfect sense, because why is it that I am sweating like that, insane amounts in my sleep, on a Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and especially Sunday. Nothing was worse than Sunday. But then on Friday and Saturday, I am not a droplet of sweat. So it was pretty easy for me to realize, okay, yep, something is going on. And a lot of you guys found me after I joined Local 12. I originally was a reporter in Dayton, Ohio. I moved there right out of college. I'm from Long Island, New York. I knew nothing about Ohio. And it's so funny looking back on the video announcing my move because I couldn't even pronounce the city.
Ultimately, I decided to take a job in Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton? Like, that's not how you pronounce it, by the way. It's Dayton. I had a great 2 years at Fox 45 in Dayton. While I was in Dayton, I obviously met Zach, and I decided to move to Cincinnati to be with him. He lived in Cincinnati, and I joined Local 12, which I just want to say, like, I'm going to be telling you a lot of things. My experience at Local 12, and especially you guys are probably going to hear me speak in past tense, none of this is really relevant now, okay? I got over it. I don't want to say got over it, but like I overcame it. I don't know, like it was just temporary things that I've learned so much from. And like, they don't bother me anymore. Like, I'm fine, but it just was a lot. Overall though, my experience at Local 12 has been great. It is a wonderful station. Like, I could like cry thinking about like leaving. Like, I have met the most amazing people, the most talented photographers and producers, other reporters, anchors, management. I have been so lucky. Everyone has been great. But when I first got to Local 12, it was not all sunshines and rainbows. And I feel like whenever you start a new job, you're just, at least for me, like thinking like, okay, like, am I gonna like this as much as the last? Like, you're kind of just feeling it out. And you're like looking for signs, like, is this gonna be a good fit? Is it not? And when I got there, like, weird things were making me feel uncomfortable. And it's so hard for me to explain. Like, I can give you an example and like, this will sum it up. It's nothing bad. It's just weird. It was one of my first live shots, my very first week, my first serious live shot. So I had done like maybe one or two like fun, like the Flying Pig Marathon and whatever, but I was doing a serious live shot about a car accident, and I was with this new photographer. A lot of people ask, photographer is what you call a video journalist. It's just people, it's not like a still photographer, it's video journalist. You know, I barely knew him. He's behind the camera. I am like, kind of like, wow, okay, like I really need to like do a good job. It's my first serious live shot for Local 12. You know, you're feeling a little like, all right, let's get this. You know, just new. I'm just feeling new. And then all of a sudden, you know, the anchor's tossed to me. I'm talking, and then I just see him start jumping up and down behind the camera, running away from the camera, like he's supposed to be at the camera, like I'm live, and just jumping and just going crazy behind the camera. And I was so confused. I'm trying to focus on the scene. I'm trying to speak. I had no idea what was happening. We finished the live shot, and he's just like, I'm like, hey, like, what's going on? He like wouldn't talk to me. It was just so weird. We load the camera in the car, and he tells me he just peed his pants. Like, it's kind of a humorous story. This is something, by the way, I've never told anyone at work. And I will never reveal this person's identity. Like, I'm not the type of person to like gossip or anything. But it just puts into perspective of just like, you see it. It's nothing bad. Just weird. Just weird. So I was feeling like kind of on edge at work a little bit. And I later found out people thought I was like very standoffish and just like, don't talk to me. Not the case at all. And those people all to this day are like, wow, I can't believe I thought you were like that. I am introverted. And I can be shy. Like, I guess I'm not shy because I'm so talkative, but like, I'm just introverted. Like, my natural state is just being more just like reserved. I don't like being the center of attention. I know you don't believe it because I have a YouTube channel. Like, of course she wants to be the center of attention. Like, no, I just love this. I love editing. I love all of that. And obviously this video is much different than my normal ones, but you guys know, like, I normally do vlogs and all of this, and I love that. But anyway, so like that was something that like I could pick up on, like, oh wow, like it's hard for me when I'm first meeting people to just not be reserved. I can't even explain it. But anyway, everything was still great. And the sleepwalking and the night sweats hadn't begun, but what triggered it and what really like changed everything, it was that summer, just a couple of months after I started, I went into my news director's office just for like an evaluation, like, hey, how are you doing? And he was, you know, so kind. And he kind of said, like, very casually, like chuckling, like, oh, like, you know, people just don't really get the YouTube thing. And I was just like, you know, like, what do you mean? Like, I hadn't heard of anything. And he told me that there were people who I work with who went into his office. I don't know if they went into his office. They could have called him. I have no idea. But they went to him and management at my station, basically trying to get me in trouble, trying to get me fired. I don't know what their goal was, but they thought my YouTube channel was very inappropriate. Obviously, you guys know I film the behind the scenes of news stories, whether it's a fun story, breaking news story, and I film it from the perspective of a reporter. So I'll film like my getting ready and applying lipstick, things that, okay, it's not journalism, but it's what has to be done as a reporter. You know, like it's the facts. So he told me that casually, like, oh, like, and it meant so much to me that he said, like, I'll never forget it. I like really could cry. I'll never forget it. He said, you have the full support of me and John, who's the general manager of Local 12. And I mean, that meant the world to me, but like once he told me this information that the people I work with, who I just started working with, went to him saying like I shouldn't be doing what I'm doing, yada, 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 I didn't hear a word he said. Like I was really just focused on not crying in his office, which I can say I made it through. I'll never forget, we finished our meeting and I had to go step outside back into the newsroom, and like I just remember like stepping out into it and just looking around and being like, is it you? Is it you? Is it you? Like just thinking like who, like it's multiple people and apparently they all hate me, and it was just like so upsetting. So obviously I went to the bathroom, did a good old cry. It just like upset me so much because I was just like, wow, like I have just never really had issues with people, and I was just devastated. I couldn't believe like, wow, like they hate me that much that they want to see me get fired. Or, and gosh, I'm so happy I didn't have to make this decision, they want my YouTube channel to be shut down. Honestly, looking back on it now, I don't fault them though. Like I'm not like sitting here being like, I can't believe they did this. Like I get it. And I have spoken with people about it. Like, I get it. Not many people do this, you know, the TV reporting behind the scenes. It's jarring to see, but it's what I do. If I'm being honest, it was a little bit after that, like days after, where I was thinking like, I'm just going to quit my YouTube channel. Like, I can't do this. I don't want these people to hate me. And I know that's so awful, like, you know, letting people win or whatever. Like, you shouldn't do that. But I just was so devastated. I just wanted to be normal. Like, I didn't want this target on my back. And I feel like whenever you do something out of the norm, such as you have this YouTube channel, there's a target on your back. I later learned, before I even started, everyone looked at my channel and they were judging me and saying I was stuck up and like super full of myself and into myself. And I get it. You see a girl who's filming herself all the time and like it might seem like that, but I don't know how else to describe it other than like I love it and I always have. I've had this YouTube channel for so many years. And so I was like, I just think I'm gonna have to stop. I had already recorded a morning routine though. And I was thinking like, this might be just my last video. You know, it's okay. I just want to be a reporter. And I uploaded that video. Within just a couple of days, it hit 1 million views. And it was just crazy. It went viral. I think it's my most viewed video on my channel. And I decided like, hey, I'm going to keep at this. And then I uploaded a couple other videos that also randomly took off and went viral. And like, it was just the biggest sign that no, like I shouldn't let people make me stop doing what I love, you know? And I don't know how much I want to say. I guess I can always edit this out, but you want to know what the craziest part was? And this was just the biggest sign, like, no, you should keep doing what you're doing. I made in 1 month on YouTube, and this is totally out of the norm. Like this, don't think I make this much every month, but I made in 1 month on YouTube more than half of my annual salary at Local 12. It was crazy. And obviously you guys know for me, it's not about the money. It was just like a weird sign, like, oh my goodness, you're fine. But I do have to say that is when the sleepwalking and the sweats started, and everything was just making me feel anxious, just having to wake up and do an interview, like anxious. For me, it manifested in the night sweats, the sleepwalking. I did have an anxiety attack for the first time since I was 12 that Zach got to witness. It was after I found out about, I thought like, wow, people want me fired, like I don't know what to do. And I have to say overall though, if there's one thing, like it certainly brought Zach and I closer together, because I'm just not the type of like, I just don't like to really share much, I don't know, I guess. And it kind of forced me to, because I was trying so hard to hold it in. I remember that night and it just like all kind of exploded, and it was It was bad. He put on my favorite movie, which is Paul Blart Mall Cop. I'll never forget it. And we just sat there and watched. Like, it's so funny. Like, one of like my most favorite nights, like one of like the best memories, came from such an awful time. And it just goes to show, like, I truly do think everything happens for a reason. So if you fast forward through the months, things just kind of kept getting better and better, in the sense that like I just developed real friendships at Local 12. I think people saw like I'm not who they thought I was, maybe. And gosh, like I love everyone there, like truly. But even as I just kept getting more comfortable and more comfortable, the hours have worn on me in a way that is difficult to describe. I mean, when I've always been mornings. Since the day I started in news, I've always been mornings. It's just, it fits my vibe more. I like the positive stuff, and mornings tends to be positive. A lot of people always ask, like, why don't you just switch to normal hours, or can you get that promotion? It's not a I mean, maybe it could be a promotion, but like, no, like I chose mornings because this is the type of news I like to cover. The day side shift and the night side shift, to be blunt, I just don't have any interest in. It's a lot of crime, a lot of court. I am mornings. Like, that is like my bread and butter, my type of stories you guys have seen. I've been able to do some of the coolest things on the morning shift that I simply would not be able to do, first of all, with any other job, but also obviously just on any other shift. And I'm so grateful for that. And that's why it stinks when you love a job so much, but the hours are killing you. And that's how it's felt. And obviously that's dramatic. All right, let's take it down a notch, drama queen. I'm not dying, but I have just noticed different health things, and I'm just always tired. And it's my fault. It's because I try to swap over to be a normal human on the weekends and hang out with my friends, hang out with Zach's friends, hang out with families. Like, it's just so hard on my body. And I told you guys I took that week-long staycation. I looked like a different person, okay? Like, I felt like a different person, because as much as I try to sleep, when you work from 3:30 in the morning to 12:30 in the afternoon, it's just hard. And I've tried different sleep schedules. Before I met Zach, I just went to bed at 6 p.m. and I woke up at 2 a.m. Now I will nap during the day, and then I will go back to bed sometime around 10, wake up at 2 a.m. And it's just a lot. And I'm just so sick of having to miss, for example, Memorial Day. Zach's family's all grilling out. Nope, I'll be sleeping during the day. I nap. Like, I'm just so sick of having to miss like his family events, having to miss Christmas. I mean, you guys know for TV news, you miss holidays, you know, Thanksgiving, I forget what that's like, Christmas, like even the 4th of July, like all of these events, like I always say, like, all right, it's just another day, like, you know, working is no big deal. It's never as bad as I think it is. But at the same time, there's just something about all gathering together on Christmas Day or Thanksgiving or whatever it is. Like, it just can't be replicated. And not having them and having them taken away has certainly made me want them so much more. It's made me so much more appreciative. And you guys know, like, I strive to be healthy. Like, I have a very big interest in health and fitness and all of that in a super balanced way, nothing crazy. And it's so discouraging when every single health website I read that says, like, you know, top ways to be healthy, it's not food that's at the top. It's not diet and exercise. It is sleep. Everything is irrelevant if you're not getting enough sleep. And when I was in Dayton and I didn't have any friends and I knew no one, I went to bed at 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and then 7 p.m. on the weekends, okay? It was great. It worked out fine because I was still getting my 8 hours. Doesn't matter when you get them. But now I'm like all flipped and flopped trying to, you know, just be a normal person. But the bottom line is, like, I'm not normal. Like, I'm not doing a normal thing. And the first summer that Zach and I moved in together was so hard because now I've set boundaries where I'm just like, hey, I'm sorry. If you want to go out on Friday night, go. But I need like one night to just to get sleep. But I didn't want to do that the first summer we moved in together. And it just resulted in just a really, I wouldn't say a bad summer. It was a great summer, but just like a lot of stress, anxiety, sleeping in my sweat. Did you guys just hear what I said? Clearly, I need my nap. I think the sleep is ruining my brain function, sweating in my sleep. Naturally, I'm sure a lot of people will wonder if, you know, Local 12 didn't choose to resign me. Is this why this is happening? Yeah, so I made this decision like a couple of years ago that I felt like I just needed to get off mornings, and I have no interest in doing dayside or nightside, but I needed to take this break. But I signed a 3-year contract. And those contracts are so binding, where I'm in a TV news reporter Facebook group. I am not exaggerating when I say every single day or every other day, at minimum, there's at least one person who's writing, I want to get out of my contract, but I don't want to pay. What can I do? A lot of people write like, I'm depressed, I'm miserable, this and that. But once you sign the contract, you physically can't leave. You can't unless you want to pay a huge buyout, which for me, it's based on your salary. It would have been thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars. Dollars that I don't want to spend. And I'll give Zach so much credit because, you know, he's known just how hard this schedule has been for me. He has told me maybe 25 times, maybe 30, just quit. We'll pay your buyout. It's not a big deal. And that means so much. So much. Like, he doesn't care about the money, you know, and like people can say like, oh yeah, money's nothing, like, you know, you come first, but that's like walking the walk. And that meant so much. And honestly, that's just all I needed to hear. Like, I just needed to know like I wasn't stuck. Because I think like, you know, when you're in this contract, one of the worst things for your mental health is just you feel stuck. Like, it's just like there's no getting out. But knowing that it was perfectly acceptable, like he was giving me the green light, like, hey, go for it. I suddenly didn't feel stuck. I felt like, okay, like if I need to do this, I can. Like, I have his full support. And like, he has just been so understanding and just like, yeah, like that's why like I just think everything happens for a reason. Like, this whole thing brought us so close together. And I don't know, I'm just, I can't even tell you how grateful I am. So a few months ago, I got an email from my news director just basically asking about re-signing, which is honestly pretty standard. Like, yeah, maybe sometimes they won't re-sign a reporter or anchor, but more so for a reporter, it's like pretty standard as long as you're like doing a good job, which I always work hard and try my hardest. Like, I don't know, but I just said like, hey, I'm not going to be re-signing. And then I was able to speak with my news director in person later about my decision. But I've gotten actually a couple of people at work who think I'm going to another Cincinnati station and that I'm leaving here. I'm going to take, so we have what's called a non-compete, meaning if you leave Local 12 or any other station, you cannot work for another TV station in the Cincinnati market for 6 months. After 6 months, you can work anywhere, but not for 6 months. So I've had people ask if I'm like waiting out my non-compete and then going to another station that's maybe paying me more or this or that. And no. I am truly taking a break from TV news, which is weird. This is all I know. I've been doing this for 5 years. It was my first job out of college. I moved to Ohio just a few days after graduation, having no idea I was going to find this job that I loved, that I was going to meet my future husband, that like I was going to live this amazing, like, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's been crazy. And I'm so unbelievably grateful for all that has happened to me over the last few years. And the truth is, like, I don't know what it is going to be like when I wake up on, it's going to be, oh wow, it's going to be the day that this video is uploaded, June 1st. My last day is May 31st. I don't know what it's going to be like. And you know what? Like, I think I am going to miss it. I really do, because I have enjoyed so much my live shots and meeting people and like this job. I really have. But I always used to say like I cared more about my work than my personal life. I was the last person who was looking to find a husband. I was the last person who came to Ohio looking to find love. It happened, and I realized, oh my goodness, that is just so much better than any job. And I want Zach and I to have like a normal, you know, relationship where I can stay awake past, you know, 9, 10 p.m. And I fight through it, but like I do get very tired. And like, it's funny because Zach has only ever met me like this. And I'm like, I swear, like, this isn't like a personality trait. Like, this isn't who I am. It's just my circumstances. So I just want to see what that's like. And you know what? Maybe I am going to miss TV reporting. And it's always here for me. I actually spoke to Sinclair, the company I work for, about this. So it's like Local 12 is owned by Sinclair, and, you know, just about like, hey, you might see me come back again, because they have been nothing but kind and supportive, and they like actually get it. Because I think a lot of the people who were complaining about my YouTube channel at Local 12 just don't really like, I don't mean this in a mean way, but like just don't really understand media, that like it's not just like, oh, clicking on the 6 p.m. news. Like a lot of people are doing things on YouTube now and Twitter and TikTok. Like that's actually where the eyeballs are, especially for the key demo is women ages 25 to 54. That's where we are. Like a lot of us aren't clicking on the 6 p.m. news. I'll be honest. It sounds weird. I don't watch the news. I just don't get my news on the TV. I read it on my phone. One thing that like I just really don't want to do is discourage future journalists. I get so many messages from you guys asking for advice, and just from you guys telling me like you love seeing the behind the scenes and it helps you prepare. I get a lot of messages from college professors who show my videos in class, and I don't want this to discourage you. I mean, I'm here to tell you like there are so many things about the news industry that I love. Like even the morning shift, like especially the morning shift. I told you I won't do any other shift. I have hope that maybe one day in the future, like I can find a job, or maybe there just might be like a golden job that just comes out of nowhere, normal hours. I can do what I love, aka just blabber on. No, but like I have hope that one day that will come, maybe, if that's what I want to do. And here's the thing, like life doesn't have to be like linear. You don't need to graduate college and then get a job and then just work in that job forever. You could take a break. You could do something else. You could do a million things. You could return to that job. Like life can be a little bit messy, and that's what makes it fun. And I'm a type A person. Me doing this is just like not who I am. Like this is crazy. I'm not the type of person who just like, it's like, oh, yep, I'm quitting on something. And I hate that. That's how it feels, like I'm quitting, but I just know in my heart that like I need to take a break and just, I want to evaluate like and see who I am outside of TV news. I think that'll be really cool. And yes, I do have plans lined up with Zach, and he's actually not home right now. I just heard him leave. So in the next video, we are going to be talking about what's going to be happening. I have talked to you guys about how changes are coming, and this is part 1 of the change, me leaving my job. Part 2 is what I'm going to be doing, and it's not just going to be me. It is what Zach and I are going to be doing. I mean, obviously I'm doing my thing for work, but like then we're doing something to get, you'll see. It's anxiety inducing. Like anytime you make a change, do something new, it's not easy. And I've dreaded filming this video because I can already like see mean comments coming. Like I don't want you guys to think like I'm just someone who gave up on everything. Like I need to do this for me. Mental health comes before anything else. And this is something that I just truly need to do. It's not easy. It's scary putting this out there, and just how my YouTube audience is going to react. My audience who, you know, watches me as a TV news reporter, like I don't know how it's going to be in this next part of my life, doing something completely different. And trust me, it's going to be different. You guys will see. And I just hope you guys will, I don't know, be kind in the comments, because I don't think I can handle anything mean. I really don't. And just follow along on my journey. I don't know. I just, yeah, like I said, I don't want to discourage future journalists, because there is so much to love about this job. And I still feel very passionate about helping journalists, aspiring journalists. And I have to say, I started out this video with a pit in my stomach. It has not left. It has not left, and it is not indigestion. But I hope you guys don't see me as the girl who quit her job. I hope you see me as the girl who is pursuing things that make me happy and not afraid to mess up and fail and for it to get messy. So with that being said, I think I'm gonna wrap things up here, but be sure to hit the subscribe button down below for my very next video on what exactly is next. And if you have any last guesses, leave them down below. I'm so curious if you guys are gonna guess what I am going to be doing and what Zach and I are going to be doing together. It's crazy. And then of course I'll have my social media link down below, my Instagram. That's where I kind of, you know, chat with you guys on the stories a little bit more candidly, and maybe I'll do some Q&As on there, just because I'm sure you guys have some questions. So yeah, if you made it this far, I love you. You're seriously like my best friend. I have been talking for so long. I don't know how much of this I'm going to keep. I feel like I might chop out some things. I don't know, but thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for following this journey. And you know what? If this is the last video of mine you see, because you're like, I'm not really into her, not as a news reporter, that's okay. That is, you know, that's okay. And I honestly just appreciate you even watching this. So I love you guys, and I'll see you Saturday. That is when we are making the big announcement. Bye.